Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Skyrim Plus. Today we have a special treat, a new home from Elfie Myrtle. You may remember her from such homes as Bandit Lair, Peaceful Garden, Yaholi, Scholar's Retreat, Swamp Hut, or the Crypt Lair. Today, she's published one of the best home mods of 2024, Shalidor's Overlook. This home is filled with features that most homes don't include, like the most creative way to include name storage, tons of custom assets, paintings that teleport you to different rooms, a room for tons of your special items, etc. This home has some of the best outdoor spaces, with beautiful landscaping, views, and even a gorgeous swimming pool. Not to mention there's lots of space for you and your spouse, up to 6 kids, and up to 8 followers. So without further ado, let's check out the map. Here we are at Shalidor's Overlook. When you install it, you'll have a map marker that's fast travel ready. We're near Rebel's Cairn, the Sundered Towers, Broken Tower Redoubt. To the left is Morthal, and to our far right is Markarth. And here we are again at our featured home, Shalidor's Overlook. For our world space view, here's Broken Tower Redoubt. And when we look up the hill by the large tree, you can see our featured home, Shalidor's Overlook. And to the right, you'll find the Sundered Towers. Now that we know where the home is, let's go to the front and take a closer look. And here's our first view of our new home. It looks amazing with the large trees gently swaying in their leaves, giving us pops of color. Starting to the right, you have a stable for your horse. It's nice to have a place for them to stay, especially on days with bad weather. And as we turn back, in front of the home, there's a statue of Shalidor himself, watching over the home. And as we approach the entrance, check out that circular glass on top of the archway. I've always thought that looks really nice, and I've seen Elfie Myrtle use those in another couple of her homes too. And here's a look at the home itself. You can tell part of the home is no load door because you can see right inside of the house with the door open. But we're going to check out the outdoor features before we head inside. The first I'd like to point out is the lock gate. When you activate this button, a magical force field appears and keeps everything inside in and everything outside out. The lighting effect looks cool and reminds you that you have that option activated. And when we turn back around, we find a beautiful garden space with death bells and nightshade, a cherry blossom tree, and an archway of flowers and colored dark elf lanterns. What an accent to the outside of the house. When you go through this archway, it leads you to the pool. Your followers like to congregate by the pool, like Zelzaz is right now, and like we saw Lucian and Professor Benjamin Dune doing earlier. A lot of insects enjoy this spot too. And when we hop in, we discover it's deep enough to swim. And I like those blue tiles too, those look great. And now we're ready to pop out and let the sun dry us off. We have a walkway around the outside of our pool, and if we take a peek off of our walkway, we have beautiful scenery from the surrounding area. It looks like this spot would be a good place to catch a butterfly or two. As we turn, notice the flowers growing along the outside of the pool wall. There are some really cool bird statues on the roof. And here's an outside view of my favorite room of the house, the crafting room. And then there's that large tree too. It looks so good. As we continue on, check out these pretty flowers in these unique vases. And look, there's a bird's nest too. Everyone wants to live here. Here's some more of those beautiful flowers in the vases. This really breaks up the gray, dreary color palette of vanilla Skyrim. I don't think anyone can complain that this home lacks soul with all of these plants and colors. And check out the detail on these roof tiles. They're catching some great shadows from the trees. As we come down the stairs, you can see that we have a bench, and you can see straight through the windows because it's a no load door home. You've got some lanterns with a button control on the outside for nights, a nice place for your followers to sit and enjoy a meal outdoors. And under the cherry blossom tree, you'll see a gate that takes you to the main hall. At the top of the screen, you'll notice a purple lantern hanging from the tall rock. We'll show you how to control that later. And notice these string of lanterns on our way down. Those look super cool. And when we reach the bottom, we have a great outdoor entertainment space for you and your followers to enjoy. Can you imagine a beautiful evening roasting some marshmallows in your button-controlled fireplace? And next to that is an oven, so you can make some tasty treats for you and your friends. And then you have a hill with some pretty flowers, a juniper tree for all of you archery potion fans, and a cool hanging lantern. This lantern and the purple one from earlier can be controlled by this button by the stairway. And then beside that, you have a wood chopping block and a woodcutter's axe for your firewood needs. When we head this way, we find our smithing area. To the left, you have a tanning rack and a place to store your pelts. There's a training dummy. And by Liel, you can see that there's a ladder that leads to a trap door, and that trap door takes you to the kitchen. Behind her, you have your workbench. Here's your grain mill. Underneath this torch, you have a button that controls the lights for this area. You have a grindstone. There's your forge and your anvil. Some more storage for smithing. And then there's your smelter. And then that completes the outdoor space from this side of the home anyway. We're going to go ahead and go back up these stairs and check out the inside. While we're headed upstairs, consider leaving an endorsement for this mod if you install it and enjoy it. And here's our front door, and we can walk right in because it's a no-load door home. Well, at least once Lucian gets out of our way. As I walk in, I'm super impressed with the textures. Look at the floors, the rug, the wall, and even the ceilings. Every corner of this home is unique and super detailed. We'll start breaking this room down from the corner, where we have these cool doors that lead us to the library. Next, we have a painting of the master bedroom, and when you activate it, it takes you there. Notice you can look outside of the windows because it's a no-load door home. There's an office space with storage for books and papers. And here's a place for you and your followers to sit and trade stories of adventures past. You have an empty shelf for Jackson's positioner users to fill. And if you have a ton of followers like I do right now, you can have extra seating with this bench. And they can unwind with a drink or two from this shelf. Speaking of shelves, here's some more static decoration. And then there's the button that controls this fireplace. And look at this woodwork and the detail. Doesn't that look awesome? This corner has another shelf for Jackson's users to fill, as well as a picture of the guest bedroom, and when you activate it, it takes you there. The guest bedroom includes beds for 8 followers to use, so you have the potential to have plenty of friends move in. Here's the Fountain of Unburden, which takes all of your crafting materials out of your inventory and stores them in crafting stores. And then you have a light switch for your main lights, and you have another magical door lock like you had at the gate in the front at the beginning of the tour, so you can keep things in that you want or out that you don't want. As we continue on, you can see the storage container for general stores. General stores is a requirement of this mod. And then you have a painting of the Children's Realm. Just like the other paintings so far, if you activate it, you can travel there, and it has beds for up to 6 kids. Check out these cool blue lights on the stairs. And now we found our way into the kitchen. I hope you're hungry. We'll go ahead and turn around so we can start showing you the buttons for this room. The top button controls the main light source, and the bottom button controls the dark elf lanterns. As you can see, I've put my kids on mute. Okay, coming back around to this corner, you have some places to store your food. You've got some nice glassware. And when you activate this button, a vase appears and starts pouring you some fresh water. That's a nice view out of that window too. You can see the pool. You can see the followers standing by the trap door that comes from the smithing area. Here's a cooking pot. And it's got this button that you can activate a hearth fire. Ooh, look at that roaring flame. Your food's going to be super hot now. You've got some more food out and about. And speaking of food, this button activates a feast at a large dinner table outside. Hold that thought though, and I'll show you where that is later. And that wraps up our tour of the kitchen. We'll go ahead and spin around one more time so you can see everything again. Now we're ready to head into my favorite room, the crafting room. Check out these floors. The statue, all of the natural light pouring in through all of these windows. I'm in paradise. And look at the detail on the ceiling. The only ceiling I can compare this one to is the dome ceiling in the library at Mortem Castle. Those two ceilings are pretty much in a league of their own. This button over here activates curtains. Maybe if you're practicing the dark arts, you might want a little privacy in doing so. As I was showing this feature, I remembered that the first room in the house had this function too. The activator's on the left side of the front door. Just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. Now that we're back in the crafting room, let's open up those windows again. We do have two more light switches on this side of the room as well. Here's the main light for the room. And this button controls the outside lights. This is what it can look like at nighttime with the outside lights. And now we're back inside, and it's daytime. And look at those beautiful windows letting in that light. I love it. And as we turn back around, you can see our staff enchanter. Doesn't that look epic? This door leads you outside to the table that will have our feast that we pushed the button for earlier. And then here's your arcane enchanter. You also have storage for everything that pertains to enchanting. And I mean, honestly, have you seen an arcane enchanter as cool looking as that? I haven't. You have a throne seat. Look at those cool candles. You also have some spots for gemstones. And where those robes are where you would put your fortify enchanting gear. Check out this really cool statue in the middle of the room. And just like Shelblad Castle, these sigil stones transport you around the home. They can take you to the library, the treasury, or the garden. We'll show you those areas a little bit later. This next space is for alchemy, so there's storage for buffs, restoratives, poisons. There's a flower and a mushroom basket. And look at this custom alchemy lab. I don't know about you, but that cool table makes me want to make some more potions. And on the other side of the table, you have a recipe book and alchemy stores. And those robes are where you'd store your fortify alchemy gear. Here's a nice little seating area, very quaint. And now I have one last feature to show you, and this one's pretty cool. There's a table in the middle of the room that reminds me a lot of that model town from Beetlejuice, and it acts as name storage. There's a spot to store your weapons. There's storage for alchemy. There's one for enchanting. And this last one's for books and papers. How cool was that? Okay, now we've seen all of the features in my favorite room of the home. Now it's time to go back outside and check out our feast. Now we're out on our terrace. Here's a huge outdoor dining table with tons of food that we activated with that button in the kitchen. We're getting some nice shade from this gigantic tree. And then of course we've got to come check out the views, right? Look at that. Elfie Myrtle picks the best spots to place her homes. From here you can see those bird statues on top of the home again. Those look super cool. And then we'll take this little pathway. You've got some roses along the way. And we can check out that view again. Now this walkway does come to an end, and then you can just hop off the edge, and now you're back down into that outdoor entertainment space. Now that we've seen all of the main living area and the outdoor areas, we're going to go check out the main hall. Now we're in the main hall. This space connects several of the bedrooms and library. In this corner, you have a portal to the children's realm. And in the far corner is a portal to the master bedroom. On the opposite corner, there's a portal to the library. And in this corner is a portal to your followers' quarters. Here's the light switch, and this portal would take us back to the yard where we just came from. Now we'll take a look at some of the room's other features. There's a fox I let Sophie keep. If you hear hard breathing, it's from the fox. Here's a table where the kids like to meet up. It has a spot for sweets. And here's the fireplace. The button on the right toggles it on and off, and there's a general storage chest too. And that storage container with the glass can store things. Now let's tour the other rooms, starting with the followers' quarters. And when we enter, we see Astrid, a new follower of mine. Here's the light switch, and here's a painting that can take us to the living room. As we continue, notice the nice flooring. And as we look up, we notice that the ceiling is glass, but it has a lot of moss covering it. And look at these panels, they're so detailed. As for the rest of this space, there are 8 beds. There are 4 corner bedrooms like this one that contain 1 bed. And then there's another 2 larger bedrooms like this that contain 2 beds. She's given them a window so they can see outside, and there are plenty of storage containers in this space too for all of their things. Now that we've seen the follower quarters, let's head back out. See you later, babe. Now we're back in the main hall. We're going to head straight across and check out the children's realm. And here we are in the children's realm. They have a little yard area, and it's got a cherry blossom tree in the middle. Check out these really cool flowery walls. And there's a pommel horse by the door. And when we enter, we see some toys. The kids have left some dolls out, and there's a dollhouse, a rocking horse. There's the Catarrhia. That's funny, I remember it being a lot bigger than that. Anyway, let's continue. You have plenty of storage containers for their things, and there are 2 beds in this room. And then you have a light switch to the right on your way out. Let's go check out the next room. And as we enter, we find a family of pigs. There's Mama Pig and a few baby pigs. There's another rocking horse, and then you have some book storage for them. It looks like they have their own children's books. And there are a couple of more beds in storage. And a light switch. Now let's go check out that last children's room. It looks like this is a good space for your boys. Here are some training dummies for them to sharpen their skills. And then you have some more storage containers and 2 more beds, and another bookcase for some children's books. Your children are going to grow up to be strong and smart, and have brains and brawn. And why not? They are the sons of the Dragonborn. There's a painting that can take you to the living room and your light switch. And now we're going to head back into the main hall. And next we're going to head to the master bedroom. Here's our master bedroom. We have open walls to the outside, and I've made it nighttime so you can see how good it looks with the night sky. As we turn back towards the portal, you have 3 mannequins to display some of your best armor or outfits. Next, you have some colorful glowing stones that highlight named storage for your weapons. There's a spot for bows, staves, 2-handed weapons, and 1-handed weapons. There's a nice large 4-poster canopy bed for you and your spouse to share. And on the side of the bed, there's a nightstand with a teleport spell. Those are always convenient. And then over here you have 2 dwarven buttons. The button on the right controls the lights, and the button on the left controls your walls. You can choose to have traditional walls if you want. They include some nice stained glass windows. And although only general stores is required, Elfie Myrtle recommends you use extravagant interiors too. Here are some dressers to store your things, a sigil stone that takes you to the bathroom, and a dwarven chest that is general stores. And in this corner, you have a teleporter to the living room. And now that we've seen this room, let's go check out the bathroom. I bet you weren't expecting this. How gorgeous is this space? Just make sure you don't stub your toe on a rock out here. On a side note, your kids do tend to come out here as a group every night. Here's a small pond area with some dwarven seating. And there's the main building for the bathroom. We'll be back there in just a moment. You also have tons of harvestable ingredients. Here's another pond area with some more dwarven seats. And then if we follow this path, we find a waterfall and a dresser right next to it. And if you look up, you can see the night sky. How pretty is that? If you stand under the waterfall, it cures all of your diseases. And you gain a blessing for health regeneration for 1 day. Basically, it pays to stay clean. I feel like that should be a life lesson anyway. Let's continue towards the main building for the bathroom. And here's our bathroom. First, you'll want to head to this corner and turn this first red knob. That'll initiate the fire and enable all of the other knobs to appear. I've already turned the knob for the sink and you can see the water running. There's a rather artistic statue. Here's your bathtub, and you can see the knob for it underneath the ivy and the water trickling down from above. And through this door is your shower, and the knobs to the right. You can see the water running right now. And our last section of the bathroom is the toilet. Elfie Myrtle said that this doesn't have any running water, but it magically gets cleaned. Use your imagination a little bit. It's nice to have these modern conveniences and comforts in this rough world that we call Skyrim. Now that we've seen all of the features of the bathroom, we're going to head back through this portal into the bedroom, and then we're going to take the portal in the bedroom to go back to the main hall, and then from the main hall, we're going to go check out this last space that's connected, the library. Look at this fantastic space. If you've seen other Elfie Myrtle homes, you may remember that she used to place figurines on top of the bookshelves to label them. Now she's made actual labels for better organization. They look really nice. That door will lead you to the living room. To the left is your light switch, and to the right of the door is a painting that can transport you back to the main hall where we came from. I really like the lighting in this room. There are some more of those great looking windows. Here's a microscope for your research. And a globe. Look at how cool that looks. And look at the floor. Wow. What a well-designed space. That's what we've come to expect from her homes. They're great looking, very functional, and always have some unique features. And here's an office space with named storage for a map chest, notes and journals, books and papers, and there's a safe. And now we'll go to the last section of the room. It looks like you have a comfortable sitting area to sit and enjoy a good book. There's another fireplace controlled with a button on the right. And then in this corner you have a scroll library, and that pile of books acts as name storage for books and papers. There's a golden globe. And although there aren't any features in this last corner, I just wanted to show you it for thoroughness' sake. Now that we've seen the features of the library, we'll go activate the sigil stone that will take us back to the crafting room. Now we'll activate the sigil stone on the right, which will take us to the garden. As you can see, I've made it morning time again so you can see a little better. This space is for all of you alchemists out there. The space offers 16 planters with hearthfire soil so you can plant whatever you need. There are lots of insects flying around, and if you're curious, the land surrounding doesn't really go anywhere, although there are a few gleam blossoms in the surrounding area if that's something that you might want to harvest. When you're ready to head back out, you just need to activate the sigil stone in the planter to take you back to the crafting room. And now we'll activate the middle orb that will take us to my second favorite room of the home, the Treasury. This is essentially your special item storage room. And how amazing does this space look! Starting from the left of the door, there's a light switch for low light settings, which basically just adds lights over the statues, and to the right of the door, that button emulates normal room lighting. I like the low lighting, so I'm sticking with that, but you can choose your preference. As we go through these hallways, I'm not going to tell you every item that you can collect, so watch if you're curious, but you can usually tell by the statue at the end of the hall. Like this is nocturnal, so you can assume that all of the Thieves Guild quest items will be here. Like here's the skeleton key. And there are a few other items like various bones and skulls that just needed a home somewhere. There's the crown of Baron Zaya too. That sure was a fulfilling quest, right? And now you can see Ysgramor. You can display his shield, Wuthrod, and even his soup spoon has a spot. And down this next hallway, you can see Shalidor in the distance, so you know this is most likely going to be a mage hallway. You can see the Staff of Magnus, the Mage's Circlet, Savos Aran's Amulet, and she even put Tolfdir's Olympic in there as a joke, and that's one of the items that you actually don't have to collect. And if you see a section of the wall with a candle on it, that means that there isn't a display for this section. Yet. But Elfie Myrtle left the door open for future updates. Next, on this ledge, you have a spot to store the white file. And this desk serves as a replica station, so you can duplicate items that you may just want to keep with you and just use the replicas to display. You might be familiar with this feature from mods like Legacy of the Dragonborn or Elfie Myrtle's other home, Scholar's Retreat. That puzzle cube has named storage for treasure. You can see the long hammer to the right, and then in the middle of the room, prominently displayed, are the 3 Elder Scrolls, which makes sense since the entire franchise is named after them. They demand importance. As well as candles marking areas that don't have displays, Ivy does the same thing. Now we can look at our Dragonborn section. You can see a statue of Hermaeus Mora, very cool. You can see the Bloodskull Blade, the Black Books, Mirax artifacts, 3 other Dragon Priest masks, and then here are Mirax robes and clothing. And then just opposite of the Dragonborn display is the Dawnguard display. That makes sense. Here's Ariel's statue. You have some of the diaries available from Dawnguard to the right. There's Ariel's bow and shield on display. In the middle you can see the Initiate's Ewer. There's the Paragons. There are some Dawnguard rune weapons. And this mannequin is open to display whatever you want, but I decided to display some ancient snow elf armor to fit the theme. Okay, we have one more section of this room to see. And this is perhaps my favorite section of the room. To the right you can see the Ebony Blade. You can see the Mask of Clavicus Vile, Spellbreaker and Dawnbreaker. Basically, many of the Daedric artifacts. Then you've got the remainder of your Dragon Priest masks. How cool does that look? Then you've got the Ogma Infinium, Sanguine's Rose. There are your Dragon Claws. Those look really cool too. And then in the corner you have Volendrung, Mehrunes Razor, and the Mythic Dawn commentaries. We've completed this space, and this was the last space to see in the home, so without further ado, it's time for final thoughts. Shalidor's Overlook is a large, feature-rich home in a gorgeous location. It offers beds for you and your spouse, up to 6 kids, and up to 8 followers. The flooring, walls, curtains, and even ceilings are a sight to behold. And if that's not inspiring enough, check out the custom alchemy lab, the custom arcane enchanter, the custom staff enchanter, and the super cool way to approach name storage. It has paintings, sigil stones, and portals to transport you throughout the home. And it offers a teleport spell if you're away from the home. It has a library for the bookworms of Skyrim, a garden for all of the budding alchemists, and a treasury for all of you artifact hoarders. Really though, wouldn't you be too with cool places like this to store your things? The outdoor features are equally as attractive with beautiful landscaping, great views, a pool, a horse stable, and several places to entertain your family, followers, and guests. You also have access to a full smithing suite, an oven, cooking pot, wood chopping block, a grain mill, a full bathroom suite, and tons of clickies. This home has it all, and it doesn't sacrifice on style, and that's why I consider it one of the best homes of 2024. Thank you, Elfie Myrtle, for another masterpiece of a home. This concludes my feature of Shalidor's Overlook. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified of when I post, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next episode.